Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight in support of Project Healthy Minds, our partners at Archie Foundation, and the true leaders in mental health access. Tonight, we're all here together to focus on what remains one of the most pressing issues of our time. Let me share a number with you. 4,000. That's how many families the Social Media Victims Law Centre is currently representing. Families whose children have been harmed or lost forever to social media. 4,000 cases at just one firm. And that number represents only those parents who have been able to link their child's circumstance to social media use. Parents who have learned legal action is possible, who have the capacity to pursue it while grieving, and parents who found their way to help in the fight back against some of the wealthiest, most powerful corporations in the world. And even after this, there may be no road to closure for grieving parents because these companies refuse to disclose their child's information and activity on their platforms. If these deaths and harms were unintended consequences 10 years ago, what are they now? This is a pivotal moment in our collective mission to protect children and support families in the digital age, and we cannot do it without you.
Our children, Archie and Lili, are just 6 and 4 years old. Can you believe it? Luckily, still too young for social media, but we know that day is coming. And like so many parents, we think constantly about how to embrace technology's benefits while safeguarding against its dangers. And that hopeful intention of separation is rapidly becoming impossible. Now, 2 years ago, we first spoke publicly about the work we've been doing with parents around social media's devastating impact on their children. There was no better place to share this than on World Mental Health Day with Project Healthy Minds. Their dedication to expanding access to mental health support is exactly what we aim to do by building this community called the Parents Network. We launched this program a year prior, after we had been tracking the effects of online harms more broadly in 2020. We were doing the research, we were meeting with experts at Stanford who had been trying to be heard on the findings that they knew were troubling and that would only worsen. And our work continued for years, quietly, and then in 2023, we connected with the Social Media Victims Law Center. We met with a group of American families whose lives were forever changed by the online harms that ultimately created the tragic fates of their children. And in that first gathering, it was clear that for all of these families, meeting others who had endured a similar experience was comforting, but more than that, it was unifying. We felt the collective strength of this community coming together to heal and feeling compelled to act in a much more public way, which is what we began to do.
Since then, as our network grew, we've seen the full scope of what we're facing. We have witnessed the explosion of unregulated artificial intelligence, heard more and more stories from heartbroken families, and watched parents all over the world become increasingly concerned about their children's digital lives. But we've also seen something else, the extraordinary strength and determination of parents who refuse to give up. Because in any ordinary or logical situation, those responsible for creating the conditions and facilitating the circumstances where children are led and lured to such harm would be held accountable. We are so proud that so many of these brave parents are taking a stand, dedicating themselves to fighting for change in a David versus Goliath situation, while educating others to the dangers so that they can be saved from the same exploitative practices and devastating consequences. When we learned that thousands of families from every corner of society were facing the same challenges, many learning for the first time that it was actually social media that took their child, we knew this movement needed to grow. These families are not only up against corporations and lobbyists, many of whom spend tens of millions of dollars every year in suppressing the truth, but also algorithms designed to maximize data collection at any cost. And their kids? They weren't struggling with mental health issues. They weren't distinctly vulnerable. They were preyed upon. In 2022, Meta told investors that new privacy restrictions giving users the ability to opt out of tracking would cost them $10 billion in revenue. And earlier this year, Apple was made to pay $95 million for violating iPhone users' privacy through its AI assistant, Siri. According to Pew Research, 89% of Americans are concerned about social media sites knowing personal information about children, and for very good reason. Human Rights Watch research found that nearly 90% of educational apps and websites were designed to send children's information to ad technology companies. And 67% of apps played by preschool-aged children collected and shared persistent digital identifiers with third-party domains, according to JAMA Pediatrics. To understand just how the latest technology rolled out by these platforms can impact children, our amazing partners at Parents Together had researchers spend 50 hours posing as children on AI chatbot accounts. They experienced a harmful interaction every 5 minutes. This wasn't content created by a third party. These were the company's own chatbots working to advance their own depraved internal policies. But here's what gives us hope. These families are not facing this alone. Kids and parents are coming together, mobilizing in inspiring ways by creating the Balance Project, the Smartphone-Free Childhood Movement, the Luddite Club here in New York City, and many, many more. Knowledge is power, and community is strength. Expanding the parents' movement and supporting them throughout is how real change happens. That's why we are so proud to announce tonight that the Parents Network is joining forces with Parents Together. This is a natural evolution to enable the community to continue to grow and have more impact alongside the rapid rise of technology.
None of this work would be possible without the dedicated people who have built this movement with us. We must give special thanks to Lennon and Leora, who helped us design this network with such care and such tremendous love, and to all of our community managers represented tonight in the audience, by Brandy, Tony, Kirsten, and Amy. Your dedication has genuinely been extraordinary. Yes, please, a round of applause for the panel. And if you do get a chance, I will go off script as well to see the Lost Screen Memorial and hear many of their children's stories tomorrow. I think it will resonate with you. I hope it will resonate with you in the same way it stayed with us. If we can go back to Aurora, that was good, thank you. You've created the spaces for families to connect and to heal. And to all the parents who've been part of the Parents Network, we are accepting this award this evening for you, in honor of all the parents in this community. This expansion to Parents Together represents both our commitment as well as the acknowledgement that we need to reach more families to create greater and faster change. Together we can, and we will, build the movement that all families and all children deserve. We know that when parents come together, when communities unite, waves are made. We've seen it happen, and we're watching it grow. And with your support, we'll continue building a safer digital world for all of our children. So on behalf of my husband and I, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you, all of you, for your support, and thank you for standing with us as we continue this vital work. Thank you, we appreciate it.